Hello there and welcome to Walker on the Wild Side. My name is Ben Walker and today I'm talking about ionized flight. Now this would be a system of making aircraft fly without actually having any moving parts whatsoever. Now currently all aircraft needs some form of moving parts to fly. For example, prop planes have the propeller which goes round and it creates an area of low pressure in front of the propeller, which then kind of pulls the aircraft forward, as it were, with thrust being propelled out the back from the wind, well, the air expelled on the other side of the propeller. Another form of flying aircraft is, of course, jet engines. Now, they're a little bit more complicated. Essentially, you've got a fan at the front, and then a compressor, and then then fuel is added to the gas, it's ignited, and out the back comes fire, essentially, which pushes the airplane forward. So those are the current two ways of creating thrust that are commonly used around the globe. Ionized flight is completely different. So the next thing to clear up is what's the difference between ionized flight and ion thrusters. Ion thrusters have been used for many years now in space stations and shuttles and all sorts of spacecraft. However, the amount of thrust generated by ion thrusters is really not that substantial. In fact, to go from 0 to 60 using an ion thruster would take you roughly 4 days. Now, of course, there are some advancements going. NASA's recently funded the advancement of ion thrusters just to make them more powerful, and they're hoping to be able to use those soon with much testing done on a certain type of thruster. However, that will be covered in a different video. Now, ionized flight is, as a concept, very simple, but it's only been achieved very recently. A team of engineers from MIT managed to have the first sustained flight 2 years ago, well, 3 years ago now, in 2018. So like I said, this team of MIT engineers managed to have a sustained flight, and it was about 60 meters. Doesn't sound like far, but in these terms that is quite a long way. Now this is the first instance of flight with a solid state aircraft, which means no moving parts whatsoever. So the way it works is there are many electrodes on these wings, with the front of the wing having loads of wires, all horizontal, charged to about 20,000 volts. And then the other part of the electrode is the aerofoil behind, which is minus 20,000 volts. So what this does is it ionizes that little pocket of air. So at the front, all the nitrogen atoms in the air get ionized, and then they flow backwards to the negative end of the electrode. And this is creating an ionic wind, which is causing a thrust forwards for the glider, so it's able to glide for those 60 meters. Now, by doing this, they have a solid state craft, which means there's no moving parts whatsoever, and it could very well be the future of flight. However, at the moment, the problem is they can't really handle that much weight, they can't go that fast really. So it's a very lightweight, small frame of a glider with massive wingspan. And all in all, it's a massive step forward to actually achieve this flight, but we can't get running away with ourselves, obviously. And the things that you see in Star Trek are still a long way off. Now to power this, obviously it's going to need some kind of source of power. So what they used was some lithium polymer batteries. They had a full stack of them basically. I'm not quite sure how many was in that stack, but there was indeed a stack. Now, like I said, there is a huge amount of voltage running through, 40,000 volts in total. And as you can imagine, it didn't quite work out properly the first time they tried it. There was lots and lots of trial and error trying to get the right system, trying to get it to work exactly right, but they were able to repeat it. I think it was 10 or 11 times they managed to repeat this when it sustained its flight on each of those times, which means there is proof of concept right there. So like I said, this aircraft was very light, but previous to these researchers, the most that an ionic wind's been able to fly is a few grams. So in reality, like I said, this is a massive step forward. So the next step, feasibly, is looking into perhaps flying drones around using an ionic wind. While it would take many years to perfect, obviously, we are leading towards a future where drones are going to be everywhere. So the ability to have drones flying around completely silently would be, I think, a blessing. Maybe a curse in case they sneak up on you, but mainly a blessing. As cities full of drones, that would just be crazy. Any further applications at this point, it's unclear. We're not sure if they would be able to fly fully sized planes with them, whether they'd be able to get enough of a power source to actually go through there and have large enough wings and to be going fast enough. There's a lot of ifs and buts at the moment. But we are definitely on the right track as far as science is concerned. So if you haven't enjoyed watching this video, feel free to leave a comment, like, subscribe, all of that stuff. If there's something else you'd like me to cover as well, leave it in the comments below and let me know. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.